gathered here in the midst of a world that seems to be falling apart in so many ways. We give you thanks for our lives, for the people in our lives, and especially we thank you for programs like the Scouts, a program that teaches quality and character, a way of being in the world that we all can admire, that we can all strive to. And God, we give you thanks for the leaders of this group, especially leaders like Tom, who maintained his sanity and his health as he worked through so many Eagle Scouts. Lord God, bless this gathering, bless this organization, bless the 2 Scouts that we recognize here today, bless their leaders, and God, enable us to go forth and live lives that are worthy of you. We ask for this blessing in your name. Amen.
And for the introduction of Eagle Scouts, we will have Mr. Tom Bassett, who is currently the Scoutmaster of Troop 169 and has done 100 Eagle Scouts to this point. So, very impressive feat.
I appreciate the opportunity to be here this afternoon, as the program this afternoon has been planned totally by our 2 Eagle Scouts. And I was told just a couple of days ago what my job was going to be, and this is one of them. I have the opportunity to, first of all, introduce the Eagle Scouts who are with us today. Today, in the state of the program of the Boy Scouts, between 5 and 6% of all young men who enter the Boy Scout program have the opportunity of earning the Eagle Scout rank. And there are several who are here this afternoon to honor Aiden and Jaden as well. And as I call your name, I would like you to stand, if you would, please. We have Mark Bassett, who is currently serving as our troop committee chairman. Mark is in the back. Bill Bassett. Did I see Bill here?
He was out front, but he's getting ready to leave.
Okay. John Culler, who is in the back. We have Kyle Bassett. Marcus Smith. Aiden Smith. Jaden Seiler. Dr. Tom Jansen. At least I think I saw Dr. Jansen. Dr. Tom Mason. There. Norm Yoder. Myself as an Eagle Scout. Did I miss anybody?
We noticed it about us, but we brought a few special guests.
Okay.
A blast from the past.
I guess so. Really hoping nobody thinks that I have to remember all these names. Although I do. Oh my. I wonder where you were at, Jim. I knew you had to be here somewhere. Did you want me to say something at this point?
Introduce them all. Introduce them all.
Oh, yeah, there's some more. No? I'm going to have them introduce themselves. I think that's most appropriate.
Calvin Dooley, Eagle Scout, 2002.
Andy Levergetta, Eagle Scout 2003. My brother Tom Levergetta was mid-80s.
1985.
Paxton Jones, Eagle Scout, sometime in the late teens.
Philip Bassett, Eagle Scout, 2011.
Mitch Johnson, Eagle Scout, 2008.
Derek Myers, Eagle Scout, 2009.
Josh Designer, 2004.
Matthew Johnson, Eagle Scout 2001. Nick Grotto, Eagle Scout 2006.
Todd Bonecutter, the #1 Eagle Scout, 1983.
Dan Crowder, Eagle Scout, 2007.
Grant Trich, Eagle Scout, 2012.
Ivan Scratch, Eagle Scout, 2013.
Scott Armstrong, Eagle Scout, 2017.
John Lutz, 2020.
Jim Culler, #4, 1985.
Jason Wells, 1984.
Nicholas Wentworth, late 90s, 98.
Just a small sampling of all these Eagles. Finally.
Doug Morrow, Eagle, 1964.
Let's give a round of applause.
Kept a good job of keeping them hidden. Well, I think my part of this is done. So I'll turn it back over to Ethan.
Well, that was a very welcome surprise, so thank you for being here. And for our next step of the program, we will have Marcus Smith, who is an Eagle Scout, present significance of the Eagle Scout Award.
All right, so as Ethan mentioned, my name is Marcus Smith. I'm an Eagle Scout from, I guess it was 2020. Fun time back then. So, Aiden, Jake, this day is all about you. But don't forget the people who helped you get where you are today. From your parents, your family, your friends, all of the scout leaders and fellow scouts that you have seen as you have gone through your scouting journey. And let's not forget the many teachers, mentors, members of your churches that have helped you as you go through this journey. You'll hear the phrase, once an eagle, always an eagle, a lot, both today and in the future. And I'm here to tell you that it's true. As a Purdue student, if I tell someone I'm an Eagle Scout, then they know exactly what that means. And all of the Eagle Scouts in this room can tell you the exact same story. As they go throughout their daily lives, if they are with someone and they tell them that they're an Eagle Scout, then the other person will know exactly what it means to them. So remember, rain or shine, you will always be an Eagle Scout. No one can take that away from you. Now, the Eagle Scout is the highest award that the Boy Scouts of America can give out. Only a select few members of the Boy Scouts ever earn this. It is a long and hard journey to earn the Eagle. 21 merit badges. Who knows how many ranks anymore? I think it's 6. You have to earn your Scout, your first class, your second class, your tenderfoot, your star, your life, and finally, your Eagle. Now, as you go throughout your journey, you're faced with many challenges. You have to finish your service work, your service project at the end of your Eagle Scout journey. But also, you have to learn many different skills, from tying knots to being good and responsible citizens of our community, our nation, and our world. As you go out today, remember that this is a great honor and you should enjoy it, but I also encourage you to stay in Scouting. Help your younger Scouts. Help them to earn their Eagles. And at the end of the day, remember, you are always going to be an Eagle Scout.
Next will be our salute to the 2 new Eagle Scouts by Dr. Tom Mason, who's been an enrollment trooper for a very long time. So, thank you.
So I have to laugh, because I get this call from Aiden. There he is. And half an hour later, I get a call from Jaden, and asked me the exact same thing. Can you salute both of us? I said, I'd be honored. So I'm going to take it one at a time. If I could have Aiden come up first. You can stand right here, young man. It's an opportunity. I'll be nice. But before I start, I have to start this introduction with an apology. Because I was reminded before this started that I was the first one at day 2 to inflict pain on you. You were kind of like this, like this. Do you remember that? I met you in the hospital. There we go. So I apologize, but we became friends after that, and it's been fun to know Aiden. So Aiden was born in 2005, and he attended Oak Farm Montessori School, which is a Montessori school in Avila. And my son attended one with Marcus, and we would do a lot of things together. So we started to know them at that time. And while he's been a follower of his brother, he's also been doing his own thing, and I applaud him for that. And he joined Cub Scouts. His dad and I were Cub Master and Assistant Cub Master and every other popcorn kernels and all that. And so it's been fun to watch him go through Cub Scouts and then cross over after he got his Arrow of Light. And then he joined the Boy Scouts here in 2017, spring of 17, crossed over the bridge. And very quickly went through several ranks. Tenderfoot, second class, first class, star, life, and then the eternal stall. So we got Eagle then, right? And he earned his Eagle Award. He actually passed the boards back in January of this year, and they've been, for multiple reasons, they have to kick this can down the road. But we get to do it today. We can celebrate them. So, and through all of this, throughout the pandemic, I applaud every scout in this room, actually every person in this room, for making it through and for still keeping the scouts alive. It's really important. While he was doing that, he was our senior patrol leader for a year? Half a year. He was also assistant senior patrol leader, assistant patrol leader, historian, librarian, junior assistant scoutmaster, as well as every other role that his dad and I inflicted upon him. Correct? Yes. Not only that, but Aiden, as you can see, wearing the Order of the Arrow sash, is an Order of the Arrow member, which is an honorary society for the Boy Scouts. And then you went on to get your brothership, is that correct? Brotherhood, I'm sorry. Okay. I did not get the opportunity to spend time with him in Philmont, but his brother and his dad and some others did. And that was last year? Last summer? Last summer? Did you have a good time? What was the best thing about Philmont?
I think just the exploring.
The exploring. Was it watching your dad pant up and down the hills? That's pretty good. His dad reminded me that that's the last one he's going on. I had the pleasure of spending Philmont with Carl and with Marcus, but Aiden was too young at the time, so he got the opportunity to go back to Philmont, which, if you're not familiar with Philmont, it is a phenomenal experience. You really learn how to survive and truly become self-confident, improving your self-confidence. So while he's on that trip, he also serves the chaplain aid, correct? And I sit back and I kind of consider one of my sons. I have Trav's our only son, so we adopt a lot of kids along the way. And Marcus and Aiden have kind of been with us for a lot of things. Our house for dinners, for overnights, for fall, doing a lot of fall break trips, spring trips. Truly, while we're not blood, pretty darn close. So it's been fun watching him grow up. Not only did he do all these awards I mentioned, he also received the Harold Smith Outstanding Troop Award in 2021 and a runner-up in 2022. As you know, one of the things they have to do when they, after they get their merit badges or as they get their merit badges, is the Eagle Service Project. And his project was, one of my passions is to fix bikes. I like to fix things. And so Aiden was able to raise the funds and put together an outdoor bicycle repair stand at Reiki Park, correct? So he poured the foundation, and if you haven't seen it there, it's really slick. All the tools are attached and everything like that. And every time I go by it, it's a passion of mine to fix bikes and to fix things. And so, again, son, it's been neat. Not only in Scouts was he busy, but he's also busy with school stuff. Band, marching band. And I think you played for the orchestra for a couple of the plays, is that correct? And did you do winter drumline or anything? Yeah. You give this man some sticks, and he will make you happy. He has rhythm unlike me. I have no rhythm. It's kind of neat to watch someone with incredible rhythm. So he's been very involved in school. And one thing I like, as I mentioned earlier about almost being a family member, is this kid, young man, is going to excel in anything he does. If he's determined to do it, stand back, because Aiden Smith is going to do it. You can only do that with all the friends and family, and you got an incredible family. Marcus is okay, but the rest of the family, no, seriously, incredible family, and you should be proud. So everyone, Aiden Smith. Jaden Seiler. Have you ever been to the principal's office? Only to, did you hear that? Only to find where the bad boys are. Yeah, that's good. I did not get to meet him on day 2 of his birth. We met them through Scouts. So Jaden joined the Cub Scouts, and then, sorry, I got the feedback here, crossed over and became a Boy Scout. And that was also in the spring of 2017. That's not right? Yeah. And he again progressed through the ranks of tenderfoot, second class, first class, star life. And then he was a month after Aiden get his board of review for Eagles, and that was in February of this year. Jaden had several leadership positions while he was in Scouts, or still is in Scouts, I should say. And quartermaster, historian, and librarian. So what was the hardest of those three? Quartermaster, organizing it's probably the same closet that everyone had here from the 80s, but it's still in the same shape. But Jane did a super job organizing us for campouts and those type of things. So part of after his merit badges, he had to do his Eagle Service project, which I believe was erecting a flag, a very small, like 4-foot flag or something. How tall was that flag? 50-foot flagpole. Yeah. And it is located where?
At the DeKalb County Horsemen's Association.
The DeKalb County Horsemen Association. So if you get out there and you see there's a really neat flagpole with a flag on it, and there's also a bench next to it, 2 benches, and a Liberty Bell. Okay? And I have a feeling that that will be there for a very long time, and every time you go by, or anyone goes by, think of Jaden Seidler. So not only was Jaden very busy with Scouts, he kind of did half of his time, if you will, with FFA, correct? Would you say? And I was over at his house for his brother's going away, Brock's going away party. And he comes out dressed in his uniform, and I'm thinking, man, he looks good twice. He looks good in this uniform, he looks good in the FFA uniform. So, and you've been very involved with that throughout the school, right? Not only that, it was fun to watch him in cross-country meets, pole vaulting. He used to be really short, and almost he got taller so he could do the pole vaulting. And track and field, other things? Scouts, FFA, and fixing Jeeps. Although I do remember a phone call. My wife and I were driving around and we get this phone call. Hey Tom, can you help me? I'm like, yeah. I ran out of gas. So he was driving the Jeep that they have, and it doesn't have a gas gauge, correct? It doesn't work, okay, it's there, it doesn't work. And so he did not want to embarrass and call his parents. So, and I told him, I said, it's no big deal, Jane, it's neat. And actually, and I told Kate this at the time, I felt really honored that he felt safe to call us and say, hey, I need help. He didn't think about it, and it was just neat. So that meant a lot to me. And we jokingly call each other, like, no offense, Scott, like, I'm his second father. He's my second or third or fourth son, and it's been a treasure. If he does nothing else in his life, he will learn to fix everything and anything that you need fixed, and plant your front yard with any type of seed that you want. He'll be happy to borrow a planter and come place, correct? You'll borrow one of Seidler's plants. So if you want your front yard planted with wheat, this is the guy to call. Jaden, just like Aiden, is one of those individuals where and there are exceptions to this, I'm sure, for all of us here, but given the opportunity and the desire to get things done, they both will do this. They both will excel at anything they put their mind to. And again, it's really important that when you do this and you move forward, you don't forget the front row here of your family and your friends, your support people here, because they will help you make whatever opportunities you have ahead incredible. Everyone, Jaden Seidler.
I'm not sure how well this next part's going to go for me. You have me up on the podium and you bring in 20 Eagle Scouts from my past. And I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to say about these two young men. And all of a sudden, all these memories are flooding back. the last 40-plus years. The first thing I would like to do is introduce, to have both Aiden and Jaden, if they would come up. But I also would like to introduce their parents, which I neglected to do at the top. But I would like to have Carl and Melinda to come up, and also Scott and Beth to come up. You can stand right up here. If you looked in your bulletin, you'll notice that there's a photo in there of a young Jaden and a young Aiden. And both of these young men are from scouting families that go back and have a lot of history in this troop. With Jaden's older brothers, Graham and Brock. Graham now, and this totally surprises me, Graham goes off to college, gets his degree, he comes back and says, I'm going to Europe, and I'm going to go backpacking for 3 months. Never saw that coming from the time that Graham was in the troop. I hear right now he's got bed bugs. Is that right? So I'm sure he's having a lot of fun over there right now. And then, of course, there's then the middle scout, our boy is Brock, who's now currently going through basic training in the Navy. And that's why the two of them are not here. And then we have Aiden with older brother Marcus. And so both of these families have been involved with me for a long time. And I sincerely and deeply appreciate all the efforts that they have given me and the help that they have given me. Now, let me talk about Aiden and Jaden for a moment. The first impressions usually are important, and they seem to last for a long time. I'll start with Jaden. He came into the troop, and he was coming to meetings and coming with his dad when his older brothers were in the troop. And he was so excited to come to the meetings, not participate in the meetings, but come into the meetings and couldn't wait to be a Boy Scout. At least that was my impression at that time, 7 or 8 years ago. For Aiden, he started showing up in the meetings when he was young with old Boy Scout uniform and an overseer's cap. Okay, the overseer's cap was the official headwear when I was a scout, back in the 70s. And both of these young men have lived up to the reputation of their families. They both had Eagle Service projects. And Dr. Tom alluded to that a moment ago. I do know for a fact that the Seiler Eagle Scout projects, all 3 of them, are going to be around long, long after I am gone, because they're all made of concrete. I haven't had a whole lot of Eagle projects in the past built with concrete, but we have a bridge over at Acres Land Trust over in Huntertown. We have the pavilion. I'm not sure if it's not really a pavilion. Maybe a pavilion at Doc Coleman's canoe landing over there on County Road 35. And then Jaden's 50-foot flagpole out the DeKalb County Horsemen's Club. They didn't go through, I don't think, regular people. They just went directly to IMI to get their concrete and had their work done. Quite a project that Jaden did, that Jaden did for his. And quite impressive. Go down County Road 427 and just look to the east, and you'll see it as you pass the pond there where they have the museum. And then we have Aiden, who built a bike stand, repair stand there at Reiki Park. Completely different from what his older brother did, who was Marcus's. Part of his was putting a library together outside the Presbyterian Church, a mini library. That's what they call it, a mini library, and did some work there at the church. But the biggest difference I've seen between Marcus and Aiden, that Marcus was always kind of into bookwork and things like that, and Aiden is all things music. And I have appreciated all the different things that Aiden has done in music and him and I talking. Now, my background is not music by any stretch of the imagination, but I was in band. So there was a little bit of common things that we could talk about in the marching band a good number of years ago. They have grown up. I've seen them change. And I have enjoyed every moment that these two young men being a part of this troop. They have been leaders, and they have showed it. There are a lot of traits about what an Eagle Scout is, and one of them is being able to provide leadership without ordering people around, setting the example for others. And I must say that Aiden has done an outstanding job of this. It's evidenced by our new senior patrol leader, Ethan, who has been an assistant senior patrol leader for some time, but under Jaden for 2 years. Then when Jaden decided to turn 18, less than a week before we go to summer camp, what did I say? Did I say Jaden? Yes. Aiden turned, this is why we don't do 2 at a time. Aiden turned 18, and Ethan had to take over and really was our leader at summer camp. And having to guide 42 people from place to place, did an outstanding job. And I give a lot of credit, Ethan, not only to you in learning, but also to Aiden, who helped prepare you. At least I hope to think that he helped prepare you for this part. And that's a strength that we see here. I'll finish up with one more thing with Jaden, and then we'll get to the presentation. Jaden has been someone who has done a lot of tinkering and trying to fix things, as Dr. Tom brought up earlier. I can remember a conversation that Jaden and I had a few years ago. He said that he had something in the barn that he was trying to fix, that he and his dad was trying to fix. And he was so proud because his mom didn't know anything about it. And he was trying to keep his mom from knowing what was in that barn. Guarantee you, Jaden, she knew what was in that barn. Just thought I'd let you know that. We're here to make a presentation of the Eagle Scout Award to 2 fine young men. Less than 6% of young men and now young women who enter the Boy Scout program have the opportunity to have this red, white, and blue ribbon with an eagle suspended from it being pinned on to their shirt by a parent. We're proud to make this presentation tonight. More than 325 different requirements that were required to get to this point. They completed all. No more and no less. They had to hold an office, whether it be a quartermaster, a historian, whether it be a senior patrol leader, it doesn't matter. It's still a leadership position, which they show leadership, and they guide by example. These 2 young did that. So at this time, I would like to have their parents pin on the eagle. First, Jaden, with this one, Beth, you pin this on your son. The second one, you'll notice on the ribbon on this particular eagle, there's a gold palm. The Boy Scouts award palms for every 5 merit badges earned over the required number of 21. First you start with bronze with 5, and then gold for 10, and silver with 15. With this particular ribbon, we'll have a gold palm on. Melinda? There's no question that these two young men did do the requirements, but they had a lot of help along the way. Not only from leaders in this troop, people from outside the unit, but also even more so from their parents. And we would like to recognize them as well. So Jaden and Aiden, if you would pin on the mother's pin. Of course, dads did a lot. As you can see that both Carl and Scott are in uniform. They've been assistant scoutmasters for me for a long time. Not only have they helped their sons, but they helped a lot of other young men attain the rank of Eagle as well. So if you could pin this on your father. The Boy Scouts of America is proud to award the rank of Eagle Scout to Jaden Seiler, Aiden Smith, Troop 169, Auburn, Indiana, in recognition of successful completion of all requirements for scouting's highest rank. Dads, if you could present this to your sons. Scouts, fellow leaders, parents, family, friends, I now introduce to you Boy Scout Troop 169's newest Eagle Scouts, Aiden Smith, Jaden Seiler. Thank you. You want to do the introductions? Yes? Mom and Dad, if you want to have a seat, well, I'll have a seat right over there. Up front. Okay, the two of you can just stay up here because we're not quite done.
Thank you for those kind words to Aiden and Jaden. And for the next of the program, we will have Mr. Belshaw and Mr. Doug Mueller, who, if you've been to Youth Members before, I'm sure you recognize those names. They are here on behalf of Elk Lodge number 1978.
Reach it. Aiden, Jaden, how you doing today? Doing okay? Good, good. It's a pretty special day. Why, first of all, on behalf of our exalted ruler, Doug Mueller, and all of the members of Auburn Elks Lodge number 1978. I would like to thank you for allowing us to be a part of your Eagle Scout Court of Honors this afternoon. Over these past 33 years now, we at the Auburn Elks Lodge have been a part of now 92 of these Eagle Scout Court of Honors, and it never ceases to amaze us at the amount of hard work and dedication that it takes to attain the rank of Eagle. And the two of you are certainly no exception to that. With everyone that is here this afternoon and everything that has been said, it's very obvious that the two of you are wonderful examples of what Eagle should represent. But you know, we've also been very impressed over these last 33 years by the amount of support the Eagles have received from their families, their friends, the troop, and of course Scoutmaster Tom. This is a testament to the strength of Troop 169, and you should be very proud of that. But in all honesty, this afternoon is all about the two of you and your tremendous achievements. Enjoy it, revel in it, but most of all, be very proud of your accomplishments. I know that we are at the Auburn Elks Lodge. Now, before I go into the awards, I just got a little bit of sentimental. I got a little sentimental, you might say, because it reminded me 33 years ago, a good friend of mine who's passed on through the Elks from Fort Wayne Lodge, if I remember right, Tom, worked with you. And Tom had just gotten started, had a few Eagles under his belt. He knew my friend George Lindsay was a member of the Elks organization. And so he would just ask George, does the Elks have any sort of an Eagle Scout program? And George says, well, yeah, I'm pretty sure that we do. We could look into it, but you might want to talk to Bill Schaub up at Auburn Elks, since the troops at Auburn. So Tom gives me a call, and we said, sure, we'll be happy to participate. We had, this was, like I said, 33 years ago, and I think it was Drew Culler and Mark McInich, I believe, were the first two, and it was up on the 3rd floor of the library. And we just kind of winged it at first because we weren't real sure what to do. But it just brought back some great memories of that. And I've met a lot of wonderful families and fine young men along the way, past Eagles. And when a lot of them came up front, I remembered a lot of the Eagles that we were privileged to be a part of too. So just wanted to throw that in. Thank you, Tom, with your 100 is quite an accomplishment. So it's a tremendous accomplishment. Why, we do have 2 awards we would like to present to the two of you this afternoon. And the first one is a certificate from the Grand Lodge of the Benevolent and Protective Order of Elks. And if you don't mind, I'd like to read it. And it starts out, presented to Aiden Smith or Jaden Seiler, Eagle Scout of Troop number 169, Auburn Lodge number 1978 of the Benevolent and Protective Order of Elks, a fraternal organization, takes pride in presenting to you an American flag because you have demonstrated that you daily practice the teachings of democracy. We are proud to call you our fellow citizens because you have worked hard to prove that you believe in the United States as one nation under God, with liberty and justice for all. As the red, white, and blue colors on the cloth blend to make a beautiful flag, so the skills you mastered have blended together to make you an outstanding citizen. So on behalf of the Grand Lodge of the Benevolent and Protective Order of Elks, it's a great privilege to present each of you with your Grand Lodge certificate. Thank you. Congratulations to both of you for that. Congratulations. Now, in that certificate, it states that you are to now receive an American flag. Therefore, on behalf of Auburn Elks Lodge number 1978, it does give me, it's a great privilege to present each of you with your American flag. And this one is for, make sure we got it right there, Aiden. Thanks, Doug. Oh, you're keeping me in line. Sorry about that. Again, congratulations, and thank you for allowing us to be a part of your Eagle Scout Court of Honors this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we will have Mr. Ken Wilcoxon on behalf of the Kiwani's.
Probably don't have a corn on them. In Kiwanis, we have a motto, changing the world one child and one community at a time. We've got various projects like Riley Hospital, we built that, gave it to IU Medical, said, here, it's yours. We keep it running. We've got things worldwide. We can't do this alone. I had a challenge I was going to give these two young men, and I'm going to throw that challenge out to everybody in the room. Help. Live your life so that your community is a better community because you live in it. Where's Todd Bonecutter? Can you tie a square knot?
Every day, Ken, every day.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to have to lay this down. But it gives me great pride to present these plaques. I ask you two young men to put these where you see them to remind you who you are. Don't ever forget that. The only time you stop being an eagle was when all toes are pointed up.
Well, I guess the microphone's been passed on to me. So I've got my second family, or third, or fourth, or however many, I'm not counting anymore. I've got a family that's out there that has helped me a lot, and I've grown up with their son ever since preschool. Went to preschool here in Auburn out by the Calp Hospital. It was a long time ago. I don't really remember back then. And we never really went to school until we hit high school. That's why I met him back in 7th grade. And to be honest, I never knew that I was there with him through school, back in preschool, until his mom started talking with me. She's like, don't you remember that you were with Jonathan back in preschool? I was like, no, I do not remember that. And she showed me some pictures. There we were, the same preschool. So the Prosser family has helped me a lot. Joe Prosser and his father have helped me a lot, and Joe is a great mentor to me. He's shown me a lot of what to do and how to better my life and how to better the community, help others. So I've been around with Jonathan. He and I'll go up to his house a lot and we'll mess around up there. They've helped teach me how to farm and help get me into farming. I'm starting 7 acres of hay with the help of them and their equipment. So Joe, if you would you please come up here? Joe had Jonathan Prosser as his kid. And I'm very grateful for that. You've been around, you've helped me a lot, you've shown me the shop, and you've shown me how to work out there, how to work on the farm, be safe, and I'm very thankful of that. So, I'm very thankful that you are a mentor to me, that you have helped me throughout my whole life. back with a little bit of blood, it's okay. Thank you.
So my mentor pin goes to someone who's been there for a very long time. And one of my earliest scouting memories is with him when me and my friend JJ would run all the way to the edge of our railing at the church and greet Sean as he came in. So like Sean Aaron to come to the front. He's always been there for me. He's always, when I was lost, he would direct me. When I was at a meeting and I wasn't doing anything, he would ask me what I was doing and point me in the right direction. And I thank him very much for helping me accomplish this.
Well, now we're on to the grandmother's pins. So if I could get Maxine Martin to come up to the front, please. Only grandma I have left. And I'm glad she's still around, even though she can get grumpy sometimes, but it's okay. I'm always glad that you're there and that you've helped me throughout my life, that you helped raise Mom to raise a child right. Even though you do come around and boss us around a little bit, it's okay. We still love you.
I'd like my grandmother, Nyla Davis, to please come up. When I remember a memory when I was in Cub Scouts, and my parents could not go for some reason, and I remember that my grandmother took me to a Cub Scout meeting, and she actually helped me on some of my projects that I was doing for that. And that was my first grade, and I remember it was one of our first meetings. And thank you very much for doing that. Thank you for leading me on that way.
We are on to presenting our Eagle Scout projects. So, I had a very crazy Eagle Scout project. It was a very good idea that Dad and I both came up with. It was to use some aluminum poles that we had stored at our house, and we've had those poles for a long time. So to start it off, I had to make forms for the benches because we also decided to put benches at the site too. So to make those forms, I had to cut out boards, and then here I am making the cage, the rebar cage, to go in the hole, the ground for the pole. That was a lot of rebar. I was very, very gracious that was donated. Here I am mixing concrete for my bench mold there. That mold was for the top and bottom of the benches. I had to make 4 of those. there I am finishing up the bench. We put the little rebar pieces sticking in it, so that way when we go to sit down on the bench, it will stay in there, and we kind of cemented it in, so it won't come apart ever. No one can move those. They're very heavy benches. So this is a site where we put in the flag. We were staging, getting everything ready. I had a cage there for the rebar cage for going in the concrete. The big anchor bolts to be set in the concrete to hold the pole. And there we are getting the cage all ready, set up to go in. Very gracious of the Cal County Horsemen to bring out their backhoe to set in the cage. And then we set it in, had to keep it lifted up so that way it wouldn't fall all the way down in. So that way when we go to pour concrete, it'll be right there and set at a good height. Getting ready to put in the anchor bolts, and then we were filling the rest of the way with concrete. We ran a little bit short, so we made a quick trip to Home Depot to go get some more concrete, fill the rest of the sonotube. There I'm putting on the sealer for my benches. That's one of the bench supports, the legs that go on it that support the base, seat in the back. And then there I am mixing more concrete for more bench pieces. Bending rebar, that rebar was pretty thick. It was pretty hard to bend. Smoothing off the edges of the concrete. Laying the benches out, getting them ready to be put together. Drilling holes, making sure they were in the right places. Family sitting there with the bench together, first one we put together. As Brock and I standing behind our finished bench. We had a pleasant surprise when we went up to check on the pole. As you can tell, not everyone likes concrete, I guess. The dog had to share a gift with us. There we are loading up the pole. Came in 2 sections, big, heavy poles. So getting the pole all ready, putting the bolts to keep the pieces together, tightening the little bolts in them. Then we had Scenic Tree Service come out, and they brought out their big crane to help lift up the pole. Another picture of them out there with their truck. When it was almost up, and we had the rope all on it, everything. Putting the finishing touches on, we had to drill and tap a hole to put the clevis or whatever on for the rope to stay on there. And that's when I was tightening down the anchor nuts. Those were very tight, very hard to do. And that's the finished pole and their bell tower. Later on they put a slab out around that we put the benches on. So that's their slab there, and then those are the benches. We had to put the benches down, and we went to see if the benches would fit on there and what way would fit the best. There I am holding the clamps. We used the clamps to hold the bench together as the bench was drying. We used cement kind of glue to hold them together. And then that's what the flag looks like up there, 50 feet high. Is that it?
All right, so for my project, it was a lot more, I think, simple than yours was, not as many pictures. So first we had to dig out this big hole where we would put the base for my bike workstation stand, because we were gonna put some concrete and then put the stand into the concrete. So first I had to dig it, And then we put some like rock at the bottom, and then we had to put in the forms, which were already made. And here we are getting the cement and pouring it into the area where we're gonna have it. Then we had to, so after it was poured, we had to smooth it. So we had Ryan and WCCI help us with the concrete and smoothing it over because I had no idea what I was doing. And here I don't know what it's called, but you place it on top of it and it makes like a design, and that's what this like big green thing is. It's a big mat. You place it on it, and then you use a tamper, and then you slam it down. Not too hard though. And here it is, the concrete drying, and we had the post around it. Next, we had to put in the dirt around the sides so the grass would grow back and there wasn't a big ledge. That's that stage complete. The concrete was drying. You can see kind of the design on it, where it's more rough and not just a smooth slab. Next, we got the bike workstation from Darrow, and we had to assemble it first, which was it was pretty easy to figure out, but it was very difficult, a lot of tightening, and you had to do things in the right order. So there's me doing that. And then we had to drill in some holes, and then to get it on there, we had to drill it, and then you have to put these special, like a screw that opens up into the concrete after you screw it in, and then hit it with a mallet. So that's what we're doing here. And that is my finished project with Mr. Ditmars. So now we're on to our thank yous, and I sure have a lot. First, I'd like to thank just everyone for being here and everyone for helping me along the way, whether that was being a scout and helping me learn, or being an adult and leading me on the right path. I'd like to give a big thanks to Tom Bassett for, number one, guiding me through all of my hardships and for allowing me to do such greatness with his materials. And then Tom Mason for getting me into scouting and leading me through my first 6 years of it. And so I'd like to thank everyone who's helped me on my journey from beginning to end. I have a few thank yous for people who have helped me on my Eagle project. I'd like to thank Norman and Peg Yoder, the Presbyterian Women's Association and the Presbyterian Church, Webb Concrete Construction Incorporated. They supplied the concrete for free, and they helped with drilling and getting it there. So big thanks to them. Brian's Automotive and Brian Reiki, Barb and Douglas Morrow, Tom and Kate Mason, the Payne family, Catherine Bassett for, I don't know if you saw, but there's a lot of photos and snippets of me in the newspaper. So I'd like to thank her for doing that for me. The Webb family, you can't see it in those pictures, but in a lot of other pictures, they were there helping me throughout all of it, whether that was smoothing the concrete down or helping me dig the hole. I'd like to special thanks to Eric Ditmars and the Auburn Parks Department. They helped. Without them, this could not have happened, and I thank them for all of their help. I'd like to also thank my family, my friends, and especially my mother, father, and my brother. And to everyone, thank you for helping me achieve this milestone in my life. Thank you.
So there are many people to thank. I just want to thank the scouting community, Tom Bassett for staying with us, putting up with all these kids that you've had to go through. 100 Eagle Scouts, a massive accomplishment. I'm very glad that you stayed here and was with the troop for this long. I'm hopeful that a couple more scouts will be able to get their Eagle Scout before you head off and into retirement. I know you're still working. I want to thank my family and my friends. I've got a couple of friends that are back here. Aiden, one of my best friends, and then Jonathan, another one of my best friends. Osric, thank you for coming here too, and living with the Prosters. It's fun to come up there and see you guys. I want to thank the Prosters for being there. I want to thank my grandmother for being here and helping me throughout my childhood. I want to thank my aunts and uncles for always being there and for helping me and always giving a fun time and enjoyable time wherever we go, whether it's with them or whether we're there to see them for a couple minutes or a couple hours. Thank you for all the scouts and everyone who helped me with my project, and to everyone, all the people who helped donate to my project. I do not have a list with me, but there were many, many people that helped me with my project, and I'm very grateful. So thank you. Thank you, Mom and Dad, also, for being there, and my extended families. There are multiple. So thank you guys very much for your help.
So congratulations to Penny Smith and James Tyler for getting the Eagle. It's a very tremendous achievement. And so that ends the formal part of the ceremony. So we will hear the flag, so all rise. Color guard, advance. Return down the colors. Scout salute. Return the colors. Two. So thank you all for being here to celebrate these two. For the Eagles, for getting the Eagle. We will have refreshments in the back following now. So please enjoy. Don't leave in a hurry.